This is Chapter 2 of By the Light, a book written by Caldwell de Rowan. Lying in my bed in complete darkness, eyes open, wondering how did I manage to get those stains on my ceiling. I can see perfectly well in the pitch black, though only in black and white. 3 small black dots, Orion's belt, in crimson red against my creamy, wonderful ceiling. Am I just a bloodthirsty animal that happens to speak? I ask myself, as if saying it out loud somehow makes it easier to face. Of course, the answer is always the same. Yes. I ponder this question, kicking it from one recondite corner of my mind to another. Like a snowball rolling downhill, this question and its implications grow larger. It has become a daily ritual for me, one that I am growing tired of revisiting, but can't quite escape. I'm addicted to overthinking. The sound of a key pushing metal pins and unlocking my front door jolts me out of my spiraling thoughts. Heavy footsteps cross my living room and make a beeline for my bedroom. Yo, Count Chocula, wake the fuck up. That would be my best and only friend, Alex. He walks into my room as if it were his and looks around, wearing red-tinted glasses that match his wine-colored dress shirt, cufflinks that match the gold rims on his shades and his belt buckle. He's sporting alligator skin loafers, no socks, and black slacks. His hair, freshly cut into a fade, still has the scent of the chemicals and disinfectant from the stylist's tools. Come on, Belle. It smells like someone died fucking in here. Let's go out, he said, pulling his glasses down and looking about the place. I bought you something real nice. I get up, throw my black satin sheets into the air, and move towards him. If you saw him, you'd think he was incredibly wealthy, a movie star or a vampire. Alex moves with a comfort and self-confidence very few people in history have had. If I were to turn him, he'd be unstoppable. I kiss him on the cheek, and he hugs me while giving me a couple pats on the back. Good to see you, dude. Now go brush your goddamn fangs. Dracula, you smell like an abandoned butcher shop, he said, making a face and swatting his hand in front of his nose, thumb and index pinching it shut. I did stink, even after my shower. Vampires get this scent when metabolizing blood. It is distinctive, to say the least. Turning onto the bathroom lights, I would have rubbed the sleep from my eyes if I had managed to get any. I opened the cabinet and grabbed the charcoal and zinc toothpaste, but something black caught my attention. A small ball of fabric. Unfolding it, I realized it was a pair of black lace panties. Rebecca. The word escaped my mouth before I could stop it. So this is where they were. How the hell did they get here? I could still sense the faint trace of her body cream, her pheromones, and ink. The tag had scribbles on it. Call me, and her phone number. Don't you even think about putting those on, Alex said, leaning on the doorframe. These are Rebecca's, I said, not elaborating further. Damn, a trophy? Kinky, I like it, Alex retorted. She left him here on purpose, I said through a mouthful of black foam. So, are we seeing her again? He asked, raising an eyebrow at me. Not likely, I replied, punctuating the sentence by spitting in the sink and turning on the faucet. She was lovely, and tasted incredible, but I don't think I could stop myself from draining her completely a second time. Some women are just like that, like a drug you can't put down. Those are the dangerous ones. I have seen many of my kind become obsessed with a particular human they found appealing. If you thought having a toxic ex was bad, imagine having an immortal ex with all the time in the world and no moral compass whatsoever. No, love, it's not in the cards for me. Alex walked in, placed several shopping bags on my bathroom sink, and with a serious look, he said, "Chop, chop, Count. You might have forever, but yours truly has his days accounted for, and plans on making the most of it. Shit, shower, shave, get fucking dressed. I'll be outside." He always surprises me with how far his nonchalance can go. The first time I saw him, he was leaning against his second-hand Nissan Sentra. Being very drunk and high, I lost track of time and was caught by the sunrise, screaming bloody murder and trying to hide into slim shadows in porches and in between buildings. I recall him making fun of me. When I felt I was about to faint from the overwhelming pain, I felt him grab my jacket and throw me into his car. As expected, I reacted baring my fangs and going full-on vampire face. He slapped me the moment I moved closer to him and shouted, "Man, sit your ass down." The sight of someone so unafraid and impossibly cool snapped me out of my rage and pain. His car was so darkly tinted that I wasn't sure how he managed to drive it, but it kept the sun at bay. He offered to drive me home for a few $100, which of course I accepted. We've been friends ever since. He takes care of all the business I can't for obvious reasons, and I give him whatever money he needs. After showering, I look into the bags. My friend could be many things, but nobody could say he had poor taste. A white dress shirt alongside navy blue dress pants. Feeling clean and refreshed, I walked out of my bathroom and glanced at my bedroom. It was caked in dry blood, the walls stained with who knows what, clothes that didn't belong to me piled onto chairs all over, and the scent of death permeated the entire place. If I had any doubts about going out tonight, that sealed the deal. I didn't want to stay here tonight. Walking out into the cool night felt wonderful. After being cooped up in my room for days, I realized I needed to go out. I sat down on the passenger seat and clasped the seatbelt tight. "You do clean up nicely, Bella," Alex said, waiting for me to either laugh or groan. "Get it? Bella Lugosi? The guy from that old movie?" "Yeah, no, I get it," I replied. Ever since I've known him, he's been making this sort of vampire pun every time. I think it's his way of checking that he's still safe with me. I'll never tell him this, but he could light me on fire, and I'd still just smile and take it. I owe him my everlasting life. I just hope he doesn't figure this out and decides he deserves a raise. "Okay, True Blood, let's go have a drink," he said, winking at me and cranking his going out Spotify playlist to the absolute maximum. Cracking the window open and feeling the cold night air blast in my face, I could hear the humming of the car as it glided along the slick asphalt. Brightly colored light signs were nothing more than streaks of red, white, and green in our windshield. The scent of 1,000 late-night food places mixed into a grand cacophony of flavor. We were cruising past the towering skyscrapers of Midtown, their glass facades reflecting the deep blue of the night sky. On the 14th Street, people were spilling out of cafes onto the sidewalks, laughing, holding drinks, while music blasted from the open doors. Every avenue felt alive in a way that you can only comprehend if you've lived as long as I have. The heartbeat of 1,000 people mixing into this dull roar kick-started my heart and made it pump full of emotion and wonder. When we walked into the dive, it was packed. People were shoulder to shoulder, drinks in cheap plastic cups lifted above their heads to avoid the congestions of hands, elbows, and bodies. We made our way towards the bar, pushing and sliding in between people. It took nearly 15 minutes to move only a few feet. The woman behind the bar had her hair in a high ponytail and was wearing what looked like overalls with a pink shirt underneath them. She looked at me with hazel-colored eyes and said with a very thick accent, "What can I get you?" "I'm not much of a drinker. Anything you like," I replied. In the back of my mind, I was laughing. I wondered what her reaction would be if I said, "Give me a brunette with a spicy food addiction and a straw, please." No doubt she wouldn't bat an eye. She had that look about her, wise beyond her years, with eyes that told me she had seen some shit and was already over it. Alex looked at a group of women who were giggling loudly with sunset-colored drinks and plastic umbrellas. "I'll take whatever they're having." "Tequila sunrise and espresso martini coming right up. You look like you'll need a pick-me-up," she said, looking at me and turning around, her ponytail snapping through the air like a whip. With a dexterity I've seen very few craftsmen achieve throughout history, she made the drinks. I remember it as if it were yesterday. London, 1983. I asked a young man to wake me up and then fuck me up. He served me this foamy, rich black drink that felt wonderful to swallow. The chocolatey taste of Kahlua mixing with the double shot of espresso really does wonders for the soul. The chilled martini glass fogged as she poured the creamy-colored drink into it, and as it settled, the true dark color of the coffee revealed itself, and a thick foam appeared on the top, dense enough to keep 3 coffee beans suspended on its surface. Sliding my card across the somewhat sticky wooden bar, I said, "I'd like to open a tab. The last name is Williams." Of course, the card had been in Alex's name. It's rather unpleasant dealing with banks when you're as old as I am. "Sure thing, love," she said. Her attention was drawn to another patron, and she was gone. I had to focus so the veritable assault on the senses wouldn't overwhelm me in a place filled with so many sweaty bodies. Taking a deep breath, I blocked out the pungent scent of sweat and cigarettes that wafted in from the outside every time someone opened the door. The traces of a few infected wounds and the sweet saccharine smell of hundreds of spilled drinks that coated the floor created a layer that could no longer be completely cleaned. Much like a shovel to the back of the head, this strange scent struck me, dazzling me momentarily. It had been hidden under the layers upon layers of competing aromas. My mouth began to water. As I traced it to its source, I could tell how it danced and swirled through the air, moving and gliding above every other fragrance in the place. Then I saw her. In the middle of this river of people flowing back and forth from the bar, she stood at the center of her own world. Letting the music move through her body, every beat made her sway as if in slow motion. As if sex were her first name and flirting was her last, she drifted closer to men and women alike, her lips slightly parted. They caught the colorful lights of the dive bar, making them look irresistible. This woman moved in high heels with the same ease as if she were barefoot. Her legs were wrapped tightly in low-cut jeans, and she wore what looked to be a bodysuit, judging by the way the fabric shaped itself around her waist and the gaps along her hips. Her long black hair reached the small of her back and was beaded with sweat. The tips of her locks tapered to points and clung to her shoulders, slick with moisture. She had wings on her eyes that accentuated the lupine shape of her face and made her look incredibly enticing. My breathing grew heavy and I could feel the pressure behind my fangs, the pain at the base of my nails, and the incessant ache of wanting to rip, tear, and drink. I downed the martini in one gulp and forced my way through the crowd this time, an unstoppable force. People complained and bemoaned spilled drinks and stained shirts, but nothing could faze me. She looked at me, her eyes a clear, unmuddled gray, and she smiled. She grabbed my hands, and we danced for a minute that felt like seconds. I thought to myself that I was going to enjoy chasing women without using my powers. I thought it would be a fun change of pace for someone like me. I was wrong. Fuck that. I want her, right now, in front of all these people. Forcing my fangs back up, I swallowed hard and could still taste the coffee. I exploded with pheromones, pushing my will harder than I've ever had onto someone. I could sense the effect this had on the women around us. Their eyes all turned to me. Some were more vocal than others in trying to get my attention. A group of girls commented on my looks. Others complimented my hair. Hands ran down my back, grabbing my ass and chest as if they all wanted a piece of me. All of them, except her. "Looks like you're busy," she said, biting her lower lip and moving away from me. It felt like I was drowning, like the last bit of energy was leaving my body and I was doomed to sink into the dark depths of the ocean. This has never happened before, and I like it. Before she let go of my hands, I pushed harder, making my presence felt even in the furthest corners of this bar. The effect intensified. I could sense the women around us pressing their thighs together, trying to hide the sensations running down their backs and into their hips. This inexorable, brutal, and animalistic desire to be fucked within an inch of their lives was now the only thing in their minds. Except her. She just walked away. "Boss, you're making a scene," Alex said, shouting inches away from my ear so he could be heard over the cacophony. That was enough to snap me out of it. The woman and several men who were moving around me, dancing and pressing their hot, sweaty bodies against one another, calmed down rather quickly after I stopped sending those pulses of attractions through the crowd. Things settled moments later. Pointing to the girl behind the bar, I shouted, "Next round's on me," loud enough for most to hear. The lovely woman in overalls looked at me with an expression that asked, "Really?" I replied with a curt nod that said, "Yes, really." When the sudden sensation of desire faded, most women looked embarrassed and laughed it off. Some stayed and kept dancing nearby. No doubt the ones who were most sensitive to my abilities were still feeling a powerful draw towards me. I went to find my mysterious woman. She was drinking from a frosty mug of beer, her shoulders covered in beads of sweat. The way she was sitting made the jeans accentuate her body in a way that made it very hard to keep my composure. Her perfume had mixed with her sweat, and the combination created something that smelled of sandalwood, perhaps myrrh. Before I could even open my mouth, she glanced at me with a bit of foam on her upper lip, wiped it away, and said, "Thanks for the drink." "No problem. Nice to meet you. I'm Belle," I told her as I raised my hand to get the bartender's attention. She had such a mischievous look and tempting smile that I couldn't help but imagining her already on my bed. She took another long drink from her beer and looked me up and down. "You look dangerous," she said, without adding anything further. "What makes you say that?" I replied, nonchalant. "You were just up to your neck in women, and yet you came looking for me. So you're either a crazy stalker, or you really have poor taste in women. Either way, I'm not interested." Before I could interject, a tall, slender woman stumbled onto my lap. One of her friends had pushed her, making it look like an accident. She wrapped her arms around my neck and looked at me with that hazy gaze that comes from having just enough alcohol in your blood to stay aware and in control, while still being able to pretend otherwise. "You're a busy bee, Belle. Bye," she said softly, low enough that she was sure I couldn't hear it. Oh, but I could. This situation couldn't be salvaged. Not tonight. Too many missteps. The tan-skinned woman on my lap began kissing my neck, slowly making her way towards my lips. I signaled to Alex that I was leaving. He had a group of college girls around him. He nodded in understanding, and I walked out with a tall, cute brunette. After all, tonight was about having fun, and I wasn't going to squander such an opportunity. I was done sulking in my bedroom, ordering food and lounging around. It was time, after however many decades, to start hunting again, to seek the next thrill. I was going to make the night mine again, as it once was. And of course, I would get my teeth around my mysterious woman's neck. But like I always say, good things come to those who wait. That was chapter 2 of By the Light, a book written by Caldwell de Rowan. If you liked it, please consider subscribing